time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Hey everybody, it's game day as the Buffalo Sabres are in town as Ottawa is playing a home game. Brent Wallace alongside Jason York. Welcome to Coming In Hot. As always, presented to you by Bet365. Yorkie, good morning. It's nice to have a little later show.
Yeah, you like that?
Well, I didn't sleep well, to be honest with you. And you know why I stayed up? I wasn't going to bring that. I stress over questions to ask players. So people always will email me or the show after and go, why didn't you ask this question? Why didn't you ask that question? And then I stress about, well, should I have asked that question? Anyway, keeps me up.
I thought, I'll say it again. I thought that was one of our best shows in a while with Josh Norris yesterday. It was organic, Wally. It was an organic show. It was like I don't even think we asked him a hockey question for the first 5 questions. We were all over the map, but I love his honesty. Like, you ask Josh a question and you don't get the old standard, well, obviously we got to get pucks deep and, it's been a tough and this and that, blah, blah, blah. No, he just tells you what he's thinking. So it's
right. And
it's
you don't
good.
Always want to just keep asking, why is it, you can't keep, like, you can't ask coaches decisions. Like, why is the power play? Why are you doing the diamond? That stuff never works because all it does end up getting you in trouble. All we're trying to do is just find out more about the individual player and what they're thinking. Anyway, I thought he was great.
Trying to get him. You just want to get to know him a little better. It's like,
yeah,
nice.
See what I see. We're BFFs. So
you guys are tight, eh? Like, you guys are like the Odd Couple, the old Odd Couple, that 1970s sitcom, and you're unfortunately you're Oscar.
I'll ask him tomorrow when I see him again. I'll be like, hey, BFF, what's up? And if he doesn't respond, then I'll let you know.
Sup? What's up? He doesn't. He's not watching. You just look. Who are you?
Yeah. Wait. We're not that tight, Brent.
Do I know you?
Okay. I want to get into some stuff. We got to set up the Buffalo Sabre game, but the Sens are struggling a bit of late. Yorkie, I want to get into that. So this show is always proudly presented to you by Charm Diamond Centers, over 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. Get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece program and an unbeatable pricing policy. Check out the large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, mine diamonds. Apply for a Charm Diamond Flexi Card today and get it approved for no interest financing on your purchase in minutes. Also, they have a great staff. So just if you have questions or you're scared or you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to diamond selection, because it's science, just go in and see them. Ask all the questions you want. Go to charmdiamondcenters.com. We'll skip the singing for today. Also, the official pizza of the Ottawa Senators is none other than Gabriel Pizza, which is the official pizza of Coming In Hot. Without question, the best pizza in Ottawa. Earn points with every purchase when you download the Gabriel Pizza Perks app. Get access to exclusive deals with the app. Order online at GabrielPizza.com or through the app, and check out their menu because they got plenty, even if you're not looking for pizza, which you should be because it's amazing. But they have pasta, donaires, salads, burgers, all kinds of stuff. Check out their menu, GabrielPizza.com. When the Sens score 4, don't forget, you say the next day, save 40% off any 9-inch pizza. All right. So, Yorkie, before we set up the Buffalo game, and we get to Charlie, of course, I think the Sens need some help up front. For a while, they were scoring goals. It wasn't that big a deal. They're not scoring nearly. They're not generating enough, if you ask me. And I know they were on the road, so the road affects how you score.
Yep.
But look at this.
It shouldn't.
Top 6. Yeah, right. Fair enough. If you see how much they've struggled of late, like Tim Stützle has 2 goals in the last 16 games. Josh has 2 goals in the last 12. Yeah. Giroux, 2 in the last 13. Batherson, 2 in the last 10. I have Norris on there twice because I liked him so much. Brady Tkachuk, 2 in the last 7. They're struggling.
Gaudette, 0 and 12.
Right.
There's a guy that it's like the start he got off to, but that wasn't going to be sustainable. The shooting percentage he was at.
Right.
They're going through. It's dips and valleys, right? They're in a dip right now, offensive wise, production wise. Also, too, slotting. I think once, and I know Amadio skated again this morning. Perron skated again this morning. Just think that they're lacking that veteran depth of slotting guys properly. I think it can't be understated how much Amadio helps that third line and just puts everybody into their positions. That third line was playing so well when he was playing with Pinto, and now Pinto has been elevated to play with Tkachuk. But I just think it's one of these things they got to get work their way through. And I think tonight's a great opportunity. You play in Buffalo, who you've had all kinds of success against. You're at home, and I'm not concerned about it, Wally. I'm not concerned. I think that group just flu bug, fatigue. You could just tell that this team was lacking a ton of energy the last 2
How long do we use the excuse of flu bug and fatigue when they have only scored more than 3 goals once in the last 10 games, 11 games?
Yeah, where were 9 of those 10 games played? It was on that. It was not just.
So I just said to you on the road was a bit of an offensive struggle. And you're like, well, it shouldn't be.
So it's let's come on now. Like that was a ridiculous stretch of games they had to play in a small amount of time over the holidays. So whatever. Tonight, you know what? Tonight, if they go out, then they're shooting blanks again. Then okay, yeah, okay, maybe there's a problem here. But I want to see this team back, re-energized, at home, and let's see what happens tonight. I think it's too early to say, they need this, they need that. I think there's enough talent sprinkled throughout their top 9, and the power play's got to get going. Like that's the one thing for me where even when you're not playing at your best, your power play can really help you. Get that power play back to the way it was when it was hot. They're not moving the puck with the same kind of confidence. Even the overtime, Wally, go back to the overtime in that last game. Usually in OT, they're a threat. They weren't even a threat in that overtime. Like it was that's the worst I've seen them. And it kind of symbolized just kind of how this team's playing energy wise, confidence wise too. A couple guys look like too, they're kind of fighting the puck a bit too. Batherson, who was going through that great stretch for most of the season, he's kind of quieted down now. Josh, who we had on yesterday, I would think if I was going to do some kind of parlay, those two have a big night tonight.
So would you replace Jake Sanderson with Thomas Chabot on the first power play unit consistently? I know everyone's
Chabot's playing pretty well right now. Honestly, I like how the job of your quarterback is to distribute the puck and move it around. Sanderson has done a nice job, but I would say Chabot's playing a lot of confidence right now. Well, I wouldn't mind that switch. Get Chabot out there with, and you know what, Sanderson's not going to care. This guy, his main thing, he loves playing against the other team's best players. His offense is good, but Chabot just seems to be playing at a different level now offensively. Like he's feeling it right now.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'd put him there. Just see what happens. Yeah. Because Otto right now is dipped below 3 goals a game over the season for goals for. I think they're now down to 12th when they were in the top 10 for most of this year. So here's the question. The trade deadline is fast approaching, if you will. It's 2 months away.
2 months, eh? Okay.
Are you going... we can argue the biggest need is to find a backup goalie, which I'm not sure that's the answer right now, or an extra D or a bottom pair D guy. But if you look around the Eastern Conference, their D's not that bad. Like we act here like it's like the worst thing that's ever been assembled. It's not that bad. It's just an average D core that seems to be good enough at defending at the moment. I think the biggest need they have right now is a top 6 player to generate more offense.
Yeah, I disagree. I think it's
which is
because of the recent injuries to 2-year right shot depth defensemen and Hamonic and Bernard Docker. Bernard Docker's got a high ankle sprain. He's not going to be the same for the rest of the year. So he's probably listen. Don't interrupt.
Okay.
Travis Hamonic, another guy. I watched the injury. It's a knee injury. It's probably an MCL. It's probably going to be 6 weeks. So if I'm going to make a move, I'm looking to bring in probably a right shot defenseman because you're one injury away on that right side from things going really bad. You know, with Zub with the concussion history now, Jensen's been really durable though. Man, that guy just munches minutes out there. But you know, you can never have enough defensemen, especially you look at this month, Wally. It's going to get really hectic, really hairy, a lot of games in a short span, lots of back-to-backs, lots of important games. If there was a defenseman out there, that's what I would do. I would try and pick up a D-man.
Really?
Well, also too, we spoke about this when we had Graham on the other day. Which, by the way, I really enjoyed Graham. I thought he was great.
He's on next week.
Awesome. When you're playing at your best, it all starts in your own zone. For sure, defensive zone coverage, structure, all that thing, but it's how you get the puck into your own zone, which makes things go. And that's why people really notice Jensen, because he goes back, he can skate, he can make a play, make a pass. Like another defenseman that can play that similar style. Obviously, you're not going to get a guy of that caliber, but somebody that could come in, especially now with those two injuries, because that's 2D, Wally. So for me, that would be the most pressing need, because those aren't short-term injuries these guys have.
But I understand. But the way that team is currently constructed with these 6 individuals, I don't have a problem with.
I know you like your boy Matt and Paolo, and I like him too. He's big. He's on paper, it looks great. But who knows what, like, it's a very small sample size of what we've seen. Like, don't know for sure. Like, how are the boots going to hold up over time? Like, this guy doesn't have a lot of reps at the NHL level. So far so good, but I like for sure, for me, more pressing need, if you could get a defenseman like many other teams in the league, that would be where I would be trying to upgrade.
Max Gannett has been called up. Looks like he's going to be the extra D tonight. He also isn't bad. Like, I know we haven't seen a lot from him. Highly regarded as a very solid D guy.
Good two-way guy. Yeah, good two-way guy.
But I'm not concerned about that D, and I know you seem to be excited about it. I think the fourth period, Dave Padnotta, who's a friend of ours, has linked Ivan Provorov to the Ottawa Senators. He's a left shot D. I'm not sure why.
Good player. Good player.
I know he works. I know he's a good offensive power play guy.
Yeah.
Is he what the team needs?
No, I don't. I for sure, if you could get him, but his salary. I don't know how you're fitting that guy into your salary structure. Like, you're going to have to move a pretty significant piece, right? For Provorov's contract. I don't have his contract in front of me. I'm going to guess he's making, I don't know, 5 or 6 million, somewhere around there.
He makes 4.725.
4.725. So
he will be a UFA at the end of the year.
So they're going to wait to trade him. They're going to get a bunch of teams interested. Just can Ottawa jump up and grab him now? He's a good player. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a really good player, and he would help. But who's leaving to fit that just under $5 million contract in? Like, they're at the cap. Like, who's going?
They've got a little bit of room, but you're gonna have to move a contract out without question.
Yeah, and but you got injuries, right? The problem is the injuries. It's like they're going to make moves without even making moves. When Amadio comes back, that's like acquiring, like, think about that. When he comes back, it's a top 9 forward that's won a cup, that's pretty good age at age 28, that's going to help you right away. And hopefully David Perron gets back, and there's another guy that's going to help you right away. So there's your 2 forwards. There's your 2 forwards right there. You don't need to make a move for a forward because you're getting 2 guys back.
Listen, again, we're talking top 9 forwards. They're not going to move the needle when this team needs to score goals. This team is struggling. We know there's a need for a top 6. There's a definite need. And that's Claude Giroux is not helping Tim Stützle right now.
No.
Give me a winger. So, okay, I'll let you answer that. But Frank Saravalli, who's with our partner show, the Daily Faceoff, has his usual trade targets board. It's now, I think it just got released yesterday, maybe. Top 25 players. Well, let's take a look and see perhaps if there's something that tickles your fancy as you go shopping here for players.
A little shopping spree. Oh, I love that. I love that little bastard, Yanni Gord.
I know, but he again doesn't fit with Ottawa. Like,
I like him. I loved him in that cup run in Tampa when they had that great third line with Barclay Goodrow, Yanni Gord, and who was the other guy on the wing there? He ended up he's in Calgary. What's his name?
Yeah. Anyway,
Gord. I'll remember this later. Yeah. Okay. So if I'm looking at this, Taylor Hall, no. Cousins. Yeah, like there's a lot of names that jump off. Do you know who I really like on this page? But again, it's a salary thing. He's a left shot. I think Bowen Byron's a hell of a player. Defenseman, young. Why would Buffalo want to trade him?
But Buffalo wants to trade everything right now, right? Like
I'm trading Bowen Byron. Come on. You're going to trade a.
You don't know if Bowen Byron's asked to be traded either.
Yeah, well, there'd be a guy. There'd be a guy. If I want a defenseman, talk about a guy that can move the puck, a guy can skate, a guy that can play offense, defense. I know health has been a little bit of concern. Well, a little bit. He's especially when he was in Colorado, he had a tough time staying healthy. He had some major things going on, some concussions, but he is a really good defenseman, Wally. So there's a name that jumps off. I love how Brandon Tanev plays. This guy plays the game.
That would be Ottawa's pick getting back. That's the pick they gave up in the Matt Duchene trade, right? For Colorado. Anyway.
Yeah. I like I love guys I love those depth guys that play the right way and play hard, and they make the other team pay a price. Tanev's one of those guys. But yeah, the guy that jumps out at me is Bowen Byron. Okay,
so it's left shot D. He could be a third. I think he could be a third pairing.
What?
Well, if he's left shot, are you putting him ahead of Thomas Chabot and Jake Sanderson?
No, that's the thing. It's probably not really.
We're back to the Jacob Chychrun issue.
Well, you have your top four.
Okay, so get focused on what we can actually add here.
Turn the page. What else do we got?
So Ivan Provorov again. We mentioned him as being, I think, linked to Ottawa. I'm not sure him and Rasmus Ristolainen are the answers for what Ottawa needs. But anyway,
Ristolainen's a big right shot defenseman. Got some size. He's pretty solid. There's another name that could be a fit. He's prone to mistakes. But no, the reason I got excited about Byron is because guys like that jump out at me because I know the value they bring to your team. And he's a young, this kid was basically Ottawa's pick. And you go back to that trade with Matt Duchene, that he was the 4th overall pick that went to Colorado. So in that's the piece that Ottawa gave to Colorado to acquire Matt Duchene, Bowen Byron.
Yes. Okay. Next page. There is a guy here I think you will like.
Yes. Oh, I love the honey badge.
No, I'm just kidding.
I love the honey badger, Pajot. Like, come on, who doesn't love this guy? How great would it be? How great! Every team could use a Pajot. Trust me, every team. But the guy, as much as I like Jean-Gabriel Pajot, Jack Quinn, right shot forward, tons of potential, local kid. I actually coached him when he was 11 years old. Played on my spring team, Wally. He's a hell of a story for people that don't know the story. Never played AAA hockey until U18. Like this kid didn't even skate in the summers. I had to convince him to play. Great kid, hell of a golfer, but I know he's been hurt, but he has top end potential. This kid could score. He's got a great release. You know, it's no coincidence. There's a lot of Buffalo guys on this list because nobody's happy in Buffalo right now. But this is the time, boy. If you could pluck a Jack Quinn out of Buffalo, man, and grow with the group you have in place right now, that's a guy that can be a legitimate top line player for me. He's got a natural release when he shoots the puck.
So he's last year of his entry level contract, which pays him around $853 or something. That maybe it's $833. So affordable. It's just his injury issue with me, and he's unproven.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing. It's injury thing, and we had this conversation before we got on the show today. People were saying that, and listen, he's not Daniel Alfredsson, but remember early in Alfie's career.
So Alfie was hurt like every training camp or early on into every season, and he would he caught a rut in the ice.
Yeah, it was just bad luck.
And everybody's like, "Oh, this guy's not ready to play." Yada yada yada. There were trade talks. Like I remember people like, "Oh, maybe it's time to move this Alfredsson guy."
I remember in my it was my first or second year in Ottawa, Alfie only ended up playing like 50 games. He was hurt his knee, and then he goes on to play geez, well over 1,000 games, and the rest is
1,100.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do know this about Quinn, though. He's a great kid, works extremely hard, and a good character. So now that's a name. It always helps when you know a little bit about the character, the personality. I just think definitely something there. If he's in the right, you put him in the right environment, the right atmosphere. That's the thing. Like, look at the environment in Buffalo right now, how negative it is there. People want out. Everyone's complaining about ownership, the team, the playoff. Where versus Ottawa, where things are starting to get good. You've got a good environment, the coaching staff, everything. It just seems like it's two totally different words. So you take a player like that and you transplant him into this environment, probably flourishes.
Remember Morgan Frost? If it wasn't last year, it was the year before. How Ottawa was going to acquire him, but have to give up.
Yeah, I like him too.
Joseph, and sending a pick to again, I don't know that he's the answer to what Ottawa needs. I'm okay. Jack Quinn interests me a little because I think he's played very well in the minors, right?
Yeah.
Can he do it at the NHL level? I don't know yet. But I'm okay with you on the Jack Quinn one, and he's fairly cheap. I know Ottawa people are all like, well, they don't have money and they're up against the cap, but you have to move money to bring back money. Like, it's that simple. So
you'd have to throw, like, Buffalo would be looking for some high end prospects because he's a high first round. I think he was 10th overall. So and then finally,
sorry, Yorkie. He was 8th or something. I'd have to go back and quickly look.
The other guy on that list before we have one other page, Kyle Palmieri. I know he's older, but I like how he plays too. Right shot forward. That guy can put the puck in the net. Like, you talk about a goal scorer and plays hard too.
Sure.
It's like,
it's a no from me.
It's just where you got to ask the question, and I'm sure when they have their internal meetings with Steve Stais and Dave Poulin and the whole hockey ops and Ryan Bonus, it's what's our mission this year? And obviously their mission is to make the playoffs. They want to make the playoffs, but part of making the playoffs is the experiences that your younger players get, because you gain so much when you go through something like this, as far as learning how to play in, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say meaningful games in real games. That's how you get better as a player. You don't get better playing in shitty games at the end of the year when you're out of the playoffs and other teams. Yeah, they're trying against you, but it's not the same. This is so that my point is, like, you want your young guys playing right now. You want your guys learning through this stuff, and hopefully they learn and make the playoffs. So that's the only danger when you're bringing an older guy, because he's going to take away that valuable experience from those young players, and it's not guaranteed it's going to help either. Like, a lot of times teams bring these guys in, it doesn't work. So doesn't work, and you've lost the reps that your players could have had.
If this was a different organization a couple of years ago, wouldn't it be funny if they both tried to trade for JT Miller and Elias Pettersson and brought them both over to the same team?
What? Why would you? Where's that? Where's that?
Well, Elias Pettersson, right? They're looking to try and move, perhaps, and then there's JT Miller, which he doesn't seem happy most of the time. And so, if they both get dealt, it would just be funny if you made a trade and they both ended up on the same team.
Who would you take if you had your decision? You wanted one of those players. Who you taking?
Oh, it's a great question. The way Ottawa is currently constructed, I would add the winger. I would add the Elias Pettersson, the goal scorer.
I thought he's both. He plays wing and center.
Well, maybe I consider him more of a winger. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm.
Yeah. Well, the age is a big factor. You got Pettersson, who's quite a bit younger than JT Miller, but then you got Miller, whose compete is off the charts, and the guy he's a leader, plays hard. Like, he plays the game the way, kind of like a similar fashion as a Brady Tkachuk. It's like it's no holds barred. It's win at all costs. Miller would be a great fit on the Ottawa Senators, Wally.
So what are you taking out, though?
Well,
in order to make either one of these moves, someone's got to go. That's a core player.
That's the thing. Like, you'd have to deal some of your young guys that Vancouver would covet. Like, You're probably gonna have to give up a couple at least, and probably draft pick. Like there's gonna
Right.
be like if they're moving JT Miller, the price is gonna be steep. So that's I at this point where Otto is and what Miller's age is, I wouldn't do it because his ceiling for how well and for how long he's going to be able to sustain this level of play is not that long. Like what is he, 31, 32? And that's what's more attractive about Elias Pettersson is just younger. So you give up all these assets and you have the player and at his top ceiling for much longer. So you see, I see Miller going for a team that is at the top of the standings that's really going to try and bolster themselves to win the cup. That's probably a destination where Miller goes if they do want to trade him.
Hello, Vegas.
Well, you put him
find
on
a way.
You put him on Vegas. Good night.
They'll find a way.
Good night. Vegas is, man, what a move that would be.
All right, let's get you set now for the Buffalo Sabres as they come into town. Yorkie, just take care of some business before I forget. We're going to get to Charlie here in a sec.
Alrighty. BEI, helping to shape the Ottawa Valley, as always, for equipment rentals, aggregate, topsoil sales, as well as custom crushing and screening, hot mix paving. They can do it all. So when you're planning your next project, please consider BEI for all your aggregate supply needs. On the web, you can find them at monisherexcavating.com or at 613-432-1120. And please remember to slow down in those construction zones.
And of course, our show proudly presented to you by Bet365. Open an account today with Bet365. Bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code NATION, all uppercase, NATION. Must be 19 years of age or older. Please play responsibly. Download the app today. Yorkie, before we get to our choices and what all is happening today at the skate, let's get right to Charlie, because Charlie pretty much sets the tone for the show now. Here is Charlie's choice.
All right, Charlie, here we go. It's time for Charlie's Choice. It's your favorite time of the day. It's everybody's favorite time of the day. Everybody wants to know. It's a big game tonight. Ottawa, fresh off that 9-game road trip where they went 500 on the road. Pretty good, all things considering. And they're going to face, at home tonight, the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo, currently last in the Eastern Conference. Ottawa, just 1 point back of that last wild card spot. So as you lick your chops there, who you going with? People want to know. The choice is yours.
Wow,
Charlie?
what a saber.
Without hesitation, she likes the Ottawa Senators.
How
about that Sabres? How about that Sabres logo? Hey,
you've really stepped it up.
Laurel says, she goes, you could just like print that off the computer if you want.
So true.
But you're wasting a lot of ink on your ink cartridges on your printer, man. They ain't cheap.
Oh my God, they cost more than the printer.
I know. So I'm like, I'm drawing them.
So you need to update the Sens one.
Yeah, you think?
Well, it looks like the ugly stepchild next to all these ones that you started drawing.
I know. Okay, I'll make a new Sens one. Which one you want?
Oh, just the regular 2D, the new old logo.
Okay, done.
Whatever logo you played in, you can draw. That's how it goes.
I'm gonna have to go to the store and get some new markers so I can get some more color into these logos.
Today, so with Bet365, the odds-on favorite for the game. By the way, Anton Forsberg first off the ice today. So
no surprise.
I thought maybe they would go with Marilainen.
What?
Yeah.
What's your rationale behind that? Explain yourself, Mr. Wallace.
Why not?
Why not? So
I think Levi Marilainen has played well enough. I would have, yeah. So I don't have an issue either way. Just thought maybe they would go with him.
You just had a hankering. You just had like when you're at night and you want a midnight snack and you just you know what? I just think I need a snack. You know what? Forsberg, you made maybe the save of the year. You had a great game. You helped us get a point. You know what? We're gonna go with the kid tonight.
I know, but either way, it didn't really. I wouldn't have been upset or surprised either way. That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't have been upset, but I would have wondered.
Okay. The parlay for today. Drake Batherson to score a goal. Tim Stützle 1 point. Brady Tkachuk 1 assist. Plus 700.
Say that one more time.
Drake to score.
Yep.
Tim to get a point.
Okay.
Juice to get a point. And Brady Tkachuk to get an assist.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff going on. And
that's a power play goal by Drake, and we're done.
You're just automatically saying the other guys are getting their points.
Well, someone's got to pass on the puck. On the power play, a little Tkachuk down, Stützle down low to Tkachuk, cross crease, Drake Batherson.
Yeah, I could see it. I would think this is going to be a high scoring game. I'd probably take the over on it if I was going to do something. I think
the over is 6 goals.
I'd go over. I'd go over on that. I think there's going to be some goals tonight. But yeah, no, listen, I think they got to start scoring. You hit the nail on the head. This team needs to start producing more. And hey, tonight's it's the perfect storm. You got Buffalo, last place, not the best team. They're kind of leaky defensively. So great time to start at home. Energized. You've had days off. Let's go.
Well, I sent you a bunch of notes last night, if I'm not mistaken, about Buffalo and how they're playing. They don't play well in Ottawa.
No, they don't. They don't.
So I think this is So what are you picking for your decision in the Challenge Cup?
I'm not going against old Charlie. It's suicide going against Charlie right now. I'm taking Ottawa. It's like I see no reason why or how they lose this game. There's just too many indicators are pointing in Ottawa win.
So Ottawa has just 1 win in its last 6 games, but those are all on the road. Ottawa has won 5 of the last 6 at home. Ottawa 9-2-1 in its last 15 games at home versus the Buffalo Sabres.
There you go.
That actually doesn't add up. 9-2-1 in their last 12. And then they're 9-5-1 overall versus Buffalo in the last 15. Buffalo 1 win in regulation in the last 5 games overall, and the Sabres 2-7-1 in their last 10 road games. Yeah, this is an Ottawa victory to me.
They're waiting. Buffalo's waiting for something major to happen, some kind of trade or hiring, something. Give us something. That's what the players are saying in that room right now.
They need you know what they need is another meeting from the owner, because that went well.
Oh, that's right. That was before Christmas, wasn't it?
I was right for the Montreal game, and then Patrick Laine single-handedly tore them apart.
Yeah, he got 3 that night, didn't he?
Well, he had all in the power play. Was it a natural hat trick? Jake, our producer, will tell me. But he just lit them up. But every time he shot the puck, they scored. Anyway. From
terrible angles too, like way over on the far side. Like, how do those go in? Anyhow, yeah, it's what did he say? Anyhow, what did the Buffalo owner say? He just said, "No one's leaving. It's good."
Well, I don't know if he's a great motivational speaker, but he's like, "We're sticking with this team. The answer is in this room." Okay,
guys are looking, huh?
Yeah, you could have probably just you could have FaceTimed us that call. Anyway, the Buffalo Sabres to me are, for whatever, like we complain a lot about the Ottawa Senators, but the Buffalo Sabres have been a mess for, I think it's 13 years now. They haven't made the playoffs.
It's tough right now, especially you're last in the Eastern Conference. You're not making the playoffs again. It's done. Like, the damage is done. There's no way you're coming back. And now it's early January, and the discussions already have begun a while ago. Who's leaving? Who's getting fired? Who's getting traded? It's just, as players, you're just waiting for the next shoe to drop. It's a brutal environment to be a part of.
Why haven't they made something?
Well, I'm not there, so just all I can say is, from what I hear, is everything starts at the top. It's kind of when it's a trickle down effect, right? And there seems, it's like they've made a bunch of different changes. They brought different coaches in. I've never liked how they play since they just seem to, well, compared to Ottawa, like, this is the first year Ottawa's been decent in a while. And what's the biggest reason?
Because it plays a team.
And they don't give up as much. You hear Travis Green say this word all the time. We played connected. That just means, like, you're tighter, better neutral zone. You make it tougher for the other team. I just don't find Buffalo makes it tough on you they've got a lot of talent too. Like when you look at their roster, they've got some good players.
But that reminds me of the the New York Rangers 90s, if you will, maybe 2000s. They would just add all this great talent and have no idea what to do with them.
Yeah.
Like Buffalo just doesn't play as a team to me.
No, like you watch Alex Tuck at times. At times, this guy looks like one of the best players in the league. Tage Thompson, the guy's 6'7". Like this guy was. Go back a couple of years ago, people were projecting this guy to be one of the top players in the league. Like that big, that skilled. Like when you got guys like that, like those guys don't grow on trees. Like imagine taking one of those guys and putting him on Ottawa. Like say, oh hey, we need a top 6. Let's put Tage Thompson on our wing with you got Kachuk, Stützle, and Tage Thompson. Like
right?
Like just think about that. Like those guys are good players. So for me, it's the way they play. Like they just give up way too much. And I think that's obviously what Lindy Ruff was trying to fix, like get this team to play tighter. But it's all things. They don't get the saves. There's so many different things. Well, and people in Ottawa know that feeling all too well. You can point the finger and there's too many problems. It's like there's a leak here, you're patching it. Over there, you're not that. You got the water bucket here everything's leaking in Buffalo right now, and that's the problem.
But we keep talking about like their D. They have Owen Power, who was a first overall pick, right? Or Rasmus Dahlin,
Owen Byron. That's three really good defensemen,
right? So
that's a great start.
But they can't figure it out defensively.
No, they play too loosey goosey for me. Like they're very loosey goosey, and we saw that last year here in Ottawa. Like when Jacques came in. And he tried to get guys to stop playing east-west all the time, make better decisions with the puck. And I'll steal one of Jacques' words. It's a process. It's a process to change.
It used to be such like a triggering word around around the media and the players. Trust the process. It's all about the process, especially when they're sending down Jason Spezza to the minors. It's
Trust
all about
the process. Trust it.
He's a kid playing in a man's league.
Yep.
Yep. So I will take the Sens if there was any question.
There you go.
All right. Is this game become like we talked about the must win in the last game with Detroit? I'm not sure it's a must win, but boy, oh boy, you're heading into the Pittsburgh Dallas games this weekend. This is a huge game to me. And maybe
it's a must win because not necessarily you're not going to make the playoffs, but for your whole mental psyche as a team, as a fan base of just did our road trip, went 500, home game. It's like you win this game. It's like, okay, we took care of business. Now we move on to the next task. And I'll say this about the team. That's from day one. What have these guys been saying, Wally? Since the day we had talked to Travis Screen, we talked to the players. Everyone says the same thing. They don't get too far ahead of themselves.
No.
So I'm sure that's the message. Hey, guys, don't worry about Pittsburgh. Don't worry about the Islanders. All those other games are going to come up. We got to win this one against Buffalo. And he's not going to steal Jacques' word of trust the process. He's just going to use stay connected. Play connected.
So there's a couple of big matchups. Like Boston plays Tampa tonight, which isn't a big one for Ottawa necessarily, but just see who can, if Tampa gets closer to Boston, right? I don't know if they can, I'm going to have to check if they can pass them. Pittsburgh hosts the Edmonton Oilers.
There's good games tonight that if they go the way they should, could move the needle for this day at least.
So, and then there's Columbus. If we can throw the standings board up for a quick sec, Jake. Columbus is hosting Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Like Ottawa could be back into a playoff spot here. Tampa could flip with Boston if they win tonight.
Yeah, and you got like a lot of teams that are behind. Even you look at a team like the New York Islanders, they're not that far out of it, 37 points, but they're playing the Golden Knights tonight. So there's a lot of favorable matchups that you could get some distance between a lot of those teams if you get 2 points tonight.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a big night to watch some hockey.
Yeah.
So Yorkie, with that being said, we are back Monday, 9 a.m. Because you get the weekend off to rest and relax. I just need you focused for the week ahead. It's a big week.
Yes, it is. Yeah, big weekend of hockey too. These are some big games coming up. So enjoy it, everybody. Hopefully, we're going to see some wins and some some goals scored in the back of the net.
Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. And by the way, thank you publicly to Jake, our producer, who does a phenomenal job day in and day out, scrambling with all the nonsense I throw at him. So appreciate you, Jake. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.